What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we've got a updated post Cyac list for you for branded Despia. Really excited for this one. I've not been enjoying Yu-Gi-Oh recently, but playing this deck like this is just unbelievable. And Quem just, this card is just so broken. It's just so good. This card is what this deck needed to not stop Ash, but really help you play through Ash. You can still end on like a few interruptions if you can get to Quem after you've been ashed. So she's really, really good and she really helps you out. Spoiler alert as well, Titaniclad is like, I think, a necessity now, given that we play Quem. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. So I am playing the one guarding Quem. She's so good it makes me want to think about playing two, but yeah, you just don't. I never really needed the second one, and yeah, when I banished, there was one point I banished her, but I just summoned her back from Adlib. So that was not really an issue, because obviously remember, guys, that she's a Dogmatica and a Despia card, so Adlib can summon her back, and she can be summoned by Titaniclad. But as she's a new card, when she's normal or special summoned, you can send one Fallen of Albaz or one card that mentions it. Remember, it's card, not monster, so you can send things like Retribution, you can send things like Swords. It's not just the monsters, so do keep that in mind, guys. It does come up occasionally where you want to send Retribution. And then the second effect, if a card leaves the extra deck, so even on your opponent's turn, because this is a trigger effect, you can target one Fallen of Albaz or one monster that mentions it in your graveyard, except itself, and special summon it. So this can obviously summon back things like Mirror Jade, Fallen of Albaz, Cartesia, which is like the go-to, and then obviously any of your other fusions that you've used, that you've obviously properly summoned. So yeah, Guiding Quem, so good, raises the ceiling of the deck, and she's just busted, man. She's just so good. Pick yours up now while they're cheap, because obviously Cartesias have gone up in price now, but this is now, I saw on the trade pages that this is like £25. Get it as soon as possible, guys. But yeah, one Quem. I'm still playing the two Cartesia. I know some people don't play two, they only play one, but I just think that potentially you could go down to one now, because if you can get to Quem, then this is really easy to get to. But I just like playing two, because if I open it, it just gives me more options to send with Quem, and you can do different things. And I actually think that this is a real going second. It's good to add pressure to your opponent, because if you can get an Albaz engrave, which is quite easy to do because I play three, just by special summoning this, it gives them so much to think about. Yeah, so this is still really good. Really enjoy it. Like I just mentioned, I play three Albaz. I play three just because obviously there's so much now that you want to have at least one in the graveyard, by either sending it with Quem to be able to summon back and fuse on your opponent's turn, if you want to use it to then summon off Albion, if you want to put it in there to manipulate for your Striking Dragon effect, obviously to summon it and then fuse on your opponent's turn, then one kind of needs to just live in the graveyard, so then you're just rotating two in your deck. So yeah, I personally like three. It also, again, if you get ashed and you open with Cartesia, then obviously you can normal summon Cartesia, and then you can, if you've got an Albaz in your hand, then you can just combo that way. So again, yeah, I really like to play with three. Never really sad about seeing it in my hand, and yeah, I enjoy playing three personally. For the last Albaz cards, so we've got one Albion, just stays there. One Macoria, because I don't play a big bestial count and I don't go for the Striking Dragon on the turn one, I think one is okay. There was a couple occasions I wanted two, but not enough that forced me to play two. Then one Spriggan's Kit. This is obviously part of the Nadir part of the Nadir combo if you get ashed, and also she's good because this gives you a second recursion of Branded in Red, because obviously this can add it back from anywhere, and then also Retribution can, so you can use the same red 3 times, and obviously you've got Tragedy as well, so that's 4 times. So Kit is actually very good for stuff like that. Onto the Despia stuff. Seems to be getting smaller and smaller, but so we've got 3 Aluba, Yep, no more can say about him. Adds a branded spell or trap. The second effect never comes up anymore. It just doesn't. But yeah, 3 of him. And then just 1 ad lib and 1 tragedy. I thought about cutting the tragedy. Because then obviously if you cut this and foolish still kind of has some use, but not really. I thought about cutting the tragedy and just playing ad lib. So we just have like 4 Despia monsters. But I personally really like tragedy, and again this gets you when it's in the amount of times yesterday I used this effect to banish it, to add back or set branded fusion and then use it was just too many times, just because the first one got ashed. So I like tragedy for that effect. Then the bestial count, just 1 of each of these. We obviously all know. Obviously, if you play the synchro version with Etude of the Branded, then you obviously need to up your bestial count like massively. You need to play at least probably like 7, probably like 2 of these, 2 Magnum, Drew's Worm, and a Saranir. But for now, just these. Obviously, you send this, and then this is just like a easy send for like retribution and stuff like that. So yeah, just 1 of each of those. Then lastly, 1 Dark Magician. I still play Dark Magician. I actually only made it once, and that was against Pearly, just because I wanted to be able to make Titaniclad to beat over their Noir, and then just like I needed to protect the Titaniclad, so I made Dragoon first and then made Titaniclad, and then did it that way. So yeah, 1 of those. For the hand traps, I do play 2 Ash, 2 Droll, and 2 Nibiru. So I play 2 of each just because obviously this is really good into the meta at the moment. This is for the cross out, Ash is for the cross out, and then Nib is just because people still play into it, not thinking about it, and obviously the new branded combos, they will play into Nibiru. If they're not smart, or they don't get a Makoria to their hand as soon as possible, then they will play into Nib, so you just Nib them, right? So yeah, that's why I play Nib. And it's good against like random rogue decks and stuff like that, so yeah, I like playing the Nib. It's only really bad against like super heavy samurai, because obviously Wakashi just gets him a negate straight away on its own, but you don't need... I think I've only got 1 person in my locals that plays like just the engine, so yeah. As per, we've got 3 branded fusion. Obviously this is about to be an ulti, like Konami are just absolutely dicking on us branded players, just making the deck more and more expensive to max rarity. But branded fusion, we know what it does, like we hope we don't get ashed. 3 opening, it's been a mainstay since it was released. It's always been 3. I don't think it'll ever be less unless it gets limited or semi-limited or whatever. But yeah, very, very good. Now guys, with Droll being more in the format, make sure if you have this in your hand and that's the play you want to go with, do it in the draw phase. You don't want to be getting Drolled. This deck don't add a lot, but it does stop you from getting your ads from like Lost and stuff like that. So if you do this in the draw phase, and then you obviously get your Aluba and you get your Branded Fusion, you'll at least be able to get your ad from your Branded Fusion if you send like Tragedy, or later on you'll be able to get your ad from the Lost. So just bear that in mind. So yeah. And then last branded cards, we've obviously got 1 Lost, busted. Can't wait for this to get like a super, or hopefully in the tins it gets a secret printing. That would be really good. 1 red, like I said, 1's actually good because we just got so many ways to recur it with like Retribution, Spriggan's Kit, and Tragedy, so that's fine like that. And then 1 branded in High Spirits. This is in here just for the combo with what's it called? With Nadir Servant. It did come up a couple of times as well, where I had an Albaz in my hand and I used this to get that and a Titaniclad into the graveyard, and then special summoned Cartesia, comboed with Cartesia for a bit, and then still activated my Branded Fusion, ended that way, and then Titaniclad in the end phase summoned the new Quem, and then obviously Quem gets the send, and then I had an interaction that way. So this was not a brick, and that's why it's also good to play the 3 Albaz, because otherwise you wouldn't have as much and that line wouldn't be open. So that was good. Then, of course, I just played 2 Nadir Servant because Nadir Servant allows you to play through Ash rather than stopping Ash. So I choose to go for the max crossout instead. But this card actually can be like such a massive comboer as well, because you can. So I did my full combo and I still had this in my hand, so I just used this to send Titaniclad and then summon Quem. So I just went for a different play without Quem and then just used Nadir Servant to get Quem in the end. So that was like, this just added more pressure. It was so good. Then I've got 3 Fusion Deployment. Obviously this summons just Albaz or Cartesia, most of the time Cartesia. That's as well why I kind of like playing 2, because if you open it, then this can only get Albaz, and sometimes you just don't want to have it, especially if you've already got one in your hand. So yeah, 3 Fusion Deployment, absolutely loved it. 3 Crossouts. This card is so good, but it's also so annoying. I seem to have only saw it when my opponent didn't have any hand traps. So, but it's just I think you have to play it now, because this deck only loses to Ash Blossom. You have to play it. Like, we lose to 1 card, so just play what you need to stop it. Because if you're resolving Brand of Fusion, you pretty much won. So, and then for the last 3 cards, so 1 Foolish Burial, just send Tragedy, or sometimes I use this to send like an Albion to get Retribution in the graveyard in like a grind, and then get back Branded Fusion, or send Saranir and Saranir send Retribution. Do you know what I mean? Or send Albaz and then summon Cartesia is a regular one that I seem to do as well. So that's why I play Foolish over Gold Sark, and Gold Sark you can only send Makoria, and I'd rather add Makoria for the negate. So yeah, like that. 1 Cooled Boy, stops Ash. So yeah, and then the last card, obviously as mentioned, is Retribution. I don't main Expulsion because if you lose the dice roll and you go second, and you open some hands with like Retribution and Expulsion, then you're playing with 4 cards and against the full board, and it's just not enough in my opinion. So it does happen, like you can be that unlucky. I am that unlucky. So yeah, I don't like maining it, and it's locals, man. Like, how much do you want to be a dick? Like, I keep it in my side for those players that are dicks, but it's locals, so I'm not too try hard at locals. I obviously want to win, and this deck can win without it, but yeah, I just keep it in my side for like Hurley when they want to be annoying with their crappy battle phase and stuff like that. I save it for them, really. But yeah, onto the extra deck. So we play obviously 1 Albion the Sanctified Dragon. So again, this is another new card. I didn't make it once. I feel like this is going to be a better card if you can't kill on going second. So like, what I mean by this is, going first, obviously, it can like really guarantee your Gimmick Puppet lock, which is okay. But going second, I think, is when it's gonna have its most value, because most of the time you can break the board with their engine, with a couple of hand traps to help you out as well. And then obviously, say look, they've got a Baron in their graveyard. On their turn, you'll bring back the Baron. So yeah, I do like that. But yeah, I never made it once. Never really came up. Not many people are playing Super Poly at my locals as well. Otherwise, I would probably made it against them. But yeah, I didn't make it very much. 2 Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade is just so good. I think there was only one time that I actually ended up going through 2, and then I just kept reborning 1, which was pretty cool. With Quem. So that's why Quem's good as well, because I just reborned my Mirror Jade and then just kept using the effect. So yeah, just you can manipulate this like 3-4 times in a turn now, which is really good. Really enjoyed it. Also again, shout out to Sleeve Chief, where I got these outer sleeves from. So good. If you haven't got them already, go over there. It's Sleeve Chief. Yeah, good. Everyone at my locals was jealous. They loved them. They're cool. Yeah, 1 Lubellion. Yeah, not more you can say really. Just like, these are all the same cards that have been in the deck since the structure deck was released. Just 1. Sometimes I would like 2, because there was a couple of occasions I wanted to shuffle back Albions or something else, but you have to shuffle back this, otherwise you don't have it in rotation now. And then if you don't kill like you're intending, then you're kind of in a bad spot. So I would kind of like to, but the deck is just so tight. 2 Albion I play. Yeah, you obviously use 1 in the combo, and then you'll use 1 to send with Mirror Jade, so you have to play 2. You would probably play 3, but there's no room. 1 Titaniclad. Now this comes up so much because now you can summon Quem from it, so its graveyard effect is really popular, is really important, but its first effect as well, where it gains attack. So someone made a Noir and then they stupidly put it in attack to beat over a couple of to beat over my Masquerade. I made this. They couldn't get rid of it because it's unaffected when it's summoned by extra deck monsters, and then I just attacked over it. So this can come up now because this was 37 and theirs was on 35 because how many they had underneath. So that can come up. So Titaniclad I think I've had it in my deck for a while to beat over things like Dora, but yeah, this is like Titaniclad is a mainstay, I think, personally. 1 Sprint. Sprint is for the Nadir 7 combo as well, because you summoned Kit in the end phase. I will do a combo video just to show that, like some of the things you can do with the new cards, and then obviously that Nadir 7 combo as well. So that will be coming soon. I'll do it when I've got better lighting. But yeah, that. Then 1 Rindbrum. I did cut it for my last profile, but I think now, because of Quem, this card is much better now, because obviously you can send this from Mirror Jade for your banish, and then when you've summoned Quem and sent a Fallen of Albaz, this can now summon the Fallen of Albaz from your graveyard. That's why I'm saying you need to have 1 Albaz kind of like living in your graveyard to manipulate with Quem and Rindbrum, and then you need the other 2 just in your deck, just circulating in rotation with Branded Fusion. So that's why I think 3 is really important now. It's much better now. So yeah, 1 Rindbrum. I did actually hard make this one game as well, because I opened Branded in Red, Quem, and Macoria. So I just normal summoned Quem, sent Fallen of Albaz, Branded in Red, target Albaz, bring it back, and then fuse with the Albaz and the Macoria. And then Macoria added me Albion, and then I got a free draw, and I think it was Branded Fusion, so I just fucked my opponent up. But yeah, so I did actually hard make this, and that was really good. So that can come up as well. And then Granule. This card I think I would like at 2, but again the deck is just so tight. I just didn't have any space. So yeah, she's really good now because you can just abuse Cartesia so much with Quem. I wish you could get Chimera's effect from Cartesia and it'd be much better, but yeah, this card is just so fucked. And now you can summon the new Synchro, which is a negate. Is really good. I enjoyed this massively. I still play one. I still main one. Masquerade. I know some people don't. I've seen a few pros not, but this just adds so much pressure. Like if you can end your board and then make this as well, like it's just too much pressure for your opponent, especially against things like Pearly. And then 1 Queritus. This still comes up certain matchups just to like irritate them, to try and like save yourself a little bit. This is also sometimes my nib proof. If I've like comboed and I've got Cartesia on the field and I haven't used the effect yet, and they nib me, then I will normally fuse, make this, nib will resolve, this will leave the field, I'll summon Albaz, and then use their Nibiru to make Albion, and then Albion will fuse into something else. Obviously you can't do that if you've gone Branded Fusion, send Lubellion, but if you haven't, that is how I normally protect through Nibiru, if I haven't gotten Macoria through to my hand yet. So yeah, those. Still playing 1 Dragoon. This card's I only made it once, again just to protect my Titaniclad, but it's nice to have there because things like Sprite, they can't get rid of it because it can't be targeted, and all their shit targets. So that's good against like decks like that. 1 Chimera, again only make this against back row decks, so I don't really make it against anyone else just because monsters are easy to deal with this deck. But yeah, I make this against back row decks, so it's good. I did make it once against Trap Tricks, but it didn't resolve, so it doesn't matter. And then the last card, Despian Lulu Walilith. So this card is okay. It's obviously better to summon than Proskinion and that, or maybe not in some cases, but there's no room, you have to pick one. But once per turn, if a card leaves the extra deck, except during the damage step, you can make all monsters you control gain 500 attack. So it kind of gets like the Fleur effect, because obviously this is Fleur being corrupted. And then you can negate the effects of one face-up card on the field. So like it doesn't target, and it just negates one card. So you can negate something else, which is kind of cool. And then if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon one light spellcaster monster from your hand or deck whose attack equals its own defense. So that basically, that doesn't come up very much, but that is basically just going to summon you Cartesia or Quem, which you normally have those in rotation anyway, so that effect is just shit, but you can see what they're going for and why it will work. But yeah, this is normally now what I summon off of Granule, but yeah, it does come up. It is something that people have to play around, especially in the mirror. It's kind of weird because obviously if they Mirror Jade, then you now can trigger this effect to negate their Mirror Jade. Well, it's on Resolute. It's on a new chain, so if their Mirror Jade's still on board, then you get to. But yeah, you get what I mean. I did actually use it, so someone Mirror Jaded, they left this on field, but I negated their Cartesia, which was kind of cool. I don't know why they didn't chain it, but yeah. That's the deck profile, guys. So guys, that's the deck profile. Sorry if I rambled a little bit on. 22 minutes. It should be a little bit less after editing. But yeah, you know I like to explain the cards, especially now we got some new cards, and obviously the deck's changed quite a bit in the way it functions. Not necessarily the builds, because obviously the main deck you just add a Quem, but the way it functions now is completely different. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What are your builds? What do you think are the best ratios? How many Quem do you play? What do you think of Quem? Yeah, and look out for the combo video. That will be coming. I'm just trying to think of like the best way to do it. I don't just want to like spit something out. And again, I don't test unless I have the cards, just because I prefer that way. I don't play on like online simulators and stuff. I just like playing with the real cards. So yeah, takes me a little while, but yeah, the deck is wild. Absolutely love it. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.